Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode in the series Conversations with Shelly. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are not so new, welcome back. And of course, I am Shelly. No, I didn't get a chance to do a random ramble on last Friday. So today I'm going to do kind of like a random ramble, except my random ramble is going to be just one topic. And it's going to be one of those topics that I have observed have been something that I am being asked or requested to do for some time now. And I thought I'm no longer going to delay it anymore. I'm actually going to discuss this particular topic now without any structure or real thought to it. And as I said, within these random rambles, I usually say what I have to say. Sometimes I have to take them back, but it is what it is, right? So today, my topic that I'm going to ramble about is something that I have often observed and often hear from a lot of my friends, my colleagues, my family members when it comes to the understanding of the corporate space and how to operate, survive, and protect yourself in what has been labeled and known as a toxic work environment. Now, gone are the days when you know, persons were able to function or at least operate within an environment that is not so pleasant. But with mental health and mental anxiety and all the other mental things that come along with us within this day and age, I thought this topic was very befitting for me to raise here so that persons that are going to hear what I have to say can know that you're not alone. You're not alone. And there may be some nugget or some tool in this very episode that will help you navigate, survive, and continue to exist in such an environment. So I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever been drained just with the thought of going to work? You don't reach work yet. It's just the thought of having to get ready to go to a particular place to work. You start to feel drained even before your day even begins. And the hurdles that you mentally have to overcome every day leaves you with this very anxious feeling. If it's not leaving you anxious, it is leaving you very angry. And you don't know what to do with these kind of emotions that your body and your mental state is taking you through. Well, I intend to give you some, at least as I said, some insight, something to allow you to be able to go through your day, at the very least, to start your day with a different mindset. If not to exist in those environments, but at least to be aware that you are within such an environment, right? And if this sounds familiar to you in any way, you may want to grab a notepad just to jot down the things that hit home to you. So today I'm going to share some practical strategies to survive and, if possible, to thrive in toxic work environments without losing your mind, your career, or your integrity. Because a lot of times, these environments can make you what I call shift change. You change into people that you didn't even know you could become. You just morph into a version of something. You don't even know if it's yourself. But it causes you to kind of not even realize your personal brand and the brand that you want to bring out there in the world because this environment is so draining. And it has such a negative impact on you that you're slowly losing who you are at your absolute core, which is somebody who is very professional, very much aware of how you are to conduct yourself. And because of these environments, you find yourself losing those things about you that is causing you to shape shift or mentally shift. Yeah? So the first thing I want to talk about is recognizing a toxic work environment. How do you recognize that you're at a particular place of employment that is just absolutely draining to you And it's absolutely taking you outside of that personal brand that you have developed for years and persons know you for and respect you for. Now, the first step to surviving or thriving is understanding and observing and noting some of the common telltale signs of a toxic environment. And the first one I'm going to raise is chronic micromanagement with little or no knowledge of how to manage. I'm going to say this again. Chronic micromanagement with little or no understanding of management. Now, I'm not saying that nobody shouldn't be managed, but there's a difference between managing somebody, micromanaging them, or policing them, as the case may be. Now, this kind of common telltale signs of a toxic environment will absolutely drain a good employee. Take it as I tell you. So those of us who are in leadership positions, senior management roles and functions, sit down with yourself as a leader and start to see what type of policing you're doing that is unnecessary. Because sometimes, and in most cases, it's not hard for you to identify it within your own instructions, within your own behavior patterns when it comes to your employees. Another one, unclear expectations are constantly changing the instruction, the goal, the strategy. Now, nobody wants to be in an environment that nothing is clear and every day something changes, or not, if not even every day, every so often something changes, and it leaves you wondering what really are going on. So honestly, that is how you feel, because the expectations, the goals, and everything that you recognize to be a structure to allow you to thrive is slowly not there, because every day somebody comes and erodes that goal, that mission, that vision that is supposed to drive the entire organization. Again, this particular common telltale sign will drain anybody, because leaders in leadership roles must be able to have clear expectations and be able to communicate that clearly without every day shifting the goalposts. You will drain your employees. Now, another common telltale sign of an environment that can become very toxic, draining a good employee, sending them to leave and oftentimes resign, is a fear-based leadership where the leaders go through their leadership style with threats and intimidation. Those of you who are in leadership positions, stop intimidating your employees. There's no need to. Your employees are very much capable of conducting themselves once they identify that they're being led by an awesome and excellent leader. There's no need for dictatorship. There's no need for what we have become known as backramasa mentality. Gone are the days when that is necessary. You lead with humility. You lead by example. You don't lead with fear. You don't lead with intimidation, and you certainly don't lead with threats. Now, let me get to another common sign of a toxic environment. Silent treatment, deliberate exclusions from meetings or critical things to help your employees understand the mission, the vision, the strategy. And you're holding information as if you're privileged to it. No. Let me be clear. We are all aware that certain information, the entire business, the entire company don't need to know. But there's a way to withhold information that doesn't lead employees to feel excluded or to feel as if they're less than. There is a way to communicate key, critical, and important details without this privileged position of knowledge. It's not necessary. Hmm. Favoritism and unequal enforcement of rules. Now, for far too long, many employers have held, whether they think they are or they are not aware of it, whether it's being done deliberate or indeliberate. You must be able to identify favoritism, nepotism, or just an unequal manner in which the rules are being enforced. You can't have one set of employees who are always facing your hand of the law, and some are just able to fly by the seat of their pants. This will create an environment of uneasiness, discomfort, and in many cases, it stops the real goal from being achieved. Another critical and important toxic work environment telltale sign is this idea of a blame culture. Why do we need to blame people for things? We are human beings. There's human frailty that exists in all of us. There's no need for you to blame. What should reside within a work environment that is to flourish is the need to teach, to correct, to show the right way of doing things. And I promise you, if leaders, if your direct manager approach with this level of humility and this level of I need to guide you instead of pushing this culture where I'm going to blame you for things because you may be at the bottom of the totem pole, will always end up where somebody loses, if not everybody. Another very critical and important telltale sign of a toxic environment, work environment, let me be very clear, is boundary violations. Respect the workspace, respect work life balance, respect people as you would want them to respect you. And if you can only say good morning to those that are on your level, best believe your leadership is operating in a very rocky boat, because chances are the persons who will carry your organization where it needs to go are never the ones that are sitting at the top with you. It's the ones that are at the bottom, being the foot soldiers, the ones that are answering the calls, the ones that are speaking to the customers and the clients. Be mindful of the lack of empathy that comes with that level of disrespect. Another toxic work environment common telltale sign is using policies, processes, usually from an HR position, to weaponize your employees. Now, again, I'm not telling you that policies and processes are not important, but I'm using a very important contextual keyword, and the word that I'm using is weaponizing. Do not use a particular policy and process to create something that is going to be like almost detrimental to the people because you're maintaining a policy or a process. Now, when you're evaluating your process and your processes and your policies, always put people at the front of them. And you will be able to see that you don't need to weaponize any of those things because you're standing in a place where your people comes first. Your policies and your process will follow, and they will follow seamlessly. Yeah. Another very important telltale sign of a toxic work environment is your high employee turnover rate with no corrective actions. Employees are just leaving left, right, and center. Some of them don't even know where they're going next. They don't know where they're going next. But the peace of mind, the tranquility that comes with no longer being affiliated with your entity or your organization is something that they pride far more than sticking around. Be mindful. Be mindful of your turnaround rate. Now, there are so many others that I could go into, but I want to give you some strategies to protect your mental health, having identified potential toxic work environments. Now, how do you protect your mental health when you identify these kinds of environment or these common telltale signs? Now, let's talk about what happens mentally. Now, in toxic workplaces, it is easy to internalize things and to lose your confidence along the way. But I'm going to tell you how to protect yourself, protect your peace, and to protect that real estate that is you. Set boundaries. Define what is your work time. No, I'm not saying not to be flexible, but have some boundaries that you set and have persons understand that to permeate those boundaries or to infiltrate those boundaries require a conversation ahead of time. Detach yourself emotionally when you're in these kind of toxic environments. And when I mean detach yourself emotionally, I mean separate yourself from the things that are causing you to feel drained. Try very best. Don't take things personal, no matter how much it is geared towards you personally. Don't take it personal. Find that space within your mind, within your inner peace, to tell yourself that even though this is being fired at me, I have to separate my emotions from this. It's not about me. Because none of these people know you. They don't know you outside of that 8 to 5 or that 9 to 6 or that 6 to 2. They don't know you. So find yourself in a space where no matter what is taking place or what is happening, even when the fires are being shot directly at you, it's not about you. It's not about you. And you move away and you move on. Document everything. I remember back in the days when I was working in corporate, I learned from one of my very excellent mentor. I'll never forget her, but I won't call her name because, of course, I wasn't given permission. And one of the things I learned early on from her was to cover your ass. We used to call it CYA. She said, Shelly, document everything. Keep emails, keep your memos, keep your notes, because this protects you when you have an unfavorable situation. Don't invest too much unless you find purpose and reason to invest in your co-workers. I'm not telling you not to have friends, but understand if the persons that are in your environment are not persons that you hang out with on weekends, or you don't talk to them after 5, or you don't have little sidebar conversations with them, even in the office, you don't need to seek their support. You need to maintain a handle on that relationship. Your goal isn't to survive. Your goal is to thrive, because there are so many places you will go that survival is a whole different ball game. It's a whole different set of rules. Your aim in a toxic work environment is to thrive, to be the best you can be until such time. How do you operate strategically Now, getting to that place where strategy now becomes the next tool that you need to employ and to bring into your space, always be professional. Always communicate calmly and factually. Focus on your work, deliver results, and maintain a high standard. Let your work speak for itself. Do not allow anybody to speak on who you are professionally. Let your work speak for itself. Yeah? Another very important strategy that I want to drop within this conversation. Always pick your battles. Some issues, you need to tackle them head on because they are so material to your ability to thrive that you have to address them head on when they come across your desk or come across your space. But ensure that the battles that you are picking are worth the fight because sometimes you're going to go through the fight. So don't fight for stupid stuff. Don't fight because somebody didn't tell you morning. That's okay, that's on them. Don't fight because somebody passed you in the hall and dropped them body. That's on them. Say good morning same way. Pick your battles. Pick your battles and win the war. I always tell people when I give lectures on these kind of things, protect the real estate that is you. Protect your mental peace. Do not let anybody, no matter who they are, cause you to feel anxiety. The Bible tells you, be anxious for nothing. And how can we not want to follow that when it's grounded in what the Lord or God has asked us and told us? Don't make nobody make you anxious for nothing. Any morning you're getting up and you feel anxious, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Move on. Find something else to take that space. And I'm going to say something that a lot of persons are not going to like, but I'm going to say it because it is something that needs to be said. When it comes to toxic environments, work environments, if needs be, plan your exit. Plan your exit. Sometimes thriving require you to exit. Nothing is wrong with changing space, changing place, changing people. Nothing is wrong, especially if you are being affected by it. Increase your network, spread your wings, seek new opportunities, and tell yourself that leaving in such a situation is not failure. It is sometimes one of the best decisions, the smartest decision you can do to protect your well-being and your career and your brand. Sometimes it's the best thing you can do. Yeah? So in closing, I will say this to all my extraordinaires. Survive in a toxic workplace. You just need to recognize the dynamics, the culture. Understand it, evaluate it, audit it. Protect your mental health. Operate strategically. You don't need to say nothing. You don't need to say much. Always maintain your personal brand and always know when to walk away. Sometimes you have to run away, but always know when the time is right. And remember, your career and your peace of mind is going to be far worth it. So don't compromise either. Yeah? My call to action, as always, is that if you found this ramble, this little video helpful, always I ask, consider subscribing, consider liking, consider hitting the notification bell, share, post, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah? Share your experience in the comments. Let me know how you've been able to handle a toxic workspace And let us keep the conversation going. Let us protect our mental peace and our mental health. Wake up every morning, be grateful for where you are, be grateful that you're employed. But gratitude, in and of itself, is not enough. Peace of mind is priceless. Thank you always, my extraordinaires, for sticking and staying. Love you loads, love you lots, and I'll see you on my next episode. Be good and be kind.